This is Channel 8 News at 5.
Coming up, the results are in from a survey done within the Lincoln Police Department, and sexual discrimination was an area of focus.
Plus, Hurricane Ian making history as one of the most powerful hurricanes to ever make landfall in Florida.
And we'll also take a look at how the effects of the hurricane could ripple into Nebraska's economy. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. The powerful storm making landfall in Florida yesterday afternoon as a Category 4 hurricane and knocking out power for 2 million people.
It's now been downgraded to a tropical storm as it moves further inland. So far, the death toll stands at 9, but that number, unfortunately, is expected to go up. ABC's Justin Finch has the latest in our top story tonight.
Ian making history as one of the most powerful hurricanes to ever make landfall in Florida, decimating parts of the state. President Biden pledging federal support.
We're going to do our best to build Florida back as quickly as possible, but we're not going to be leaving.
This storm is having broad impacts across the state, and some of the flooding you're going to see in areas hundreds of miles from where this made landfall are going to set records.
2.5 million Floridians told to evacuate, but some who chose to stay had to be rescued by first responders. High water levels prompting drastic rescue calls in Lee County.
Caller reporting a sinking vehicle, unknown if he's breathing, caller disconnected.
Many still waiting for help.
We have thousands of calls on 911 that are prioritized, and we're answering as we speak. There are thousands of people that are waiting to be rescued.
ABC's Ginger Z facing the eye wall.
We see these winds, and that little house that we were talking about all day has gone, succumbed to the storm surge. Now the blue roof is all that's left floating in the water toward the building.
Fort Myers flooded with up to a 12-foot storm surge, shredding structures to pieces, debris floating in the streets, cars submerged. This floating debris was once someone's house. In Naples, Kimberly Walker telling ABC about the moments water began to seep into her home.
The water got to be a lot more and a lot more and a lot more. And it was just, it didn't matter what you did. The water started coming into my home, reaching about mid-thigh. I knew I had to get out.
In the city of Punta Gorda, water service is out. A boil water advisory in effect until further notice. And power has been restored to more than 1 million customers. Next, portable cell phone towers will go up across Southwest Florida once it's deemed safe to do so. Justin Finch, ABC News, Tampa.
Rescues began overnight as soon as conditions were safe enough for crews to go out.
And they've been going nonstop ever since.
You need to be evacuated. Step out of your front door.
And it's a race against the clock, with some of these operations a matter of life or death. Search and rescue missions are underway from the air and on land, where flooding has left many trapped. 26 states are sending support, and FEMA is also on the ground.
Our priority is saving lives. There's been a number of people that have been impacted that might be trapped. Our search and rescue teams have been out since 4 o'clock this morning. There's going to be areas that are hard to access, but these are the best of the best that are out there.
Ian is on the verge of powering up again to hurricane status as it moves over the ocean, taking aim at South Carolina, and its governor also declaring a state of emergency. And the effects of Hurricane Ian may start affecting store shelves here in Lincoln and throughout the state.
Consumers could begin to see their favorite items go out of stock temporarily due to the storm. Channel 8's Philip Katafamo is here in the studio to let us know what could be leaving store shelves. Philip?
Thank you, Rod. When it comes to household goods such as paper towels, toilet paper, or bottled water, just to name a few, we won't see any issues with supply there. However, certain items that are either manufactured or transported through or from Florida, South Carolina, or soon to be Georgia could be affected. You could start to see things such as orange juice, various citrus fruits, tobacco, fertilizer, some pharmaceutical products, and other items begin to rise in price or have a lower supply. There are even items that have pieces manufactured in the states affected by the hurricane that could also begin to drop off in inventory. Say, for example, your favorite shampoo brand could have a part of the bottle, like the cap, manufactured in Florida, and due to the hurricane, that may limit supply. I spoke with Jennifer Ryan, the chair of Supply Chain Management and Analytics at the University of Nebraska, about how Ian could also affect gas prices.
Anytime you have a hurricane coming into the Gulf, you have the producers located in the Gulf, the oil producers, will shut down at least temporarily. So you can see a temporary blip in prices, in supply because of that. My understanding is they weren't actually impacted. They did have to shut down in anticipation, just in case, but they should be up and running again quickly is my understanding. So because the shutdown was so short, we're unlikely to see huge consequences.
Ryan says Typhoon Noru, currently impacting Vietnam, could also affect products that are manufactured or shipped from that area. Certain electronics, clothing, footwear, textiles, and more may see a dip in supply during this weather event. As for us here in Nebraska, the best advice Ryan has is to not panic and do not rush out to stock up on items. Again, only certain items that are directly tied to those impacted states will be affected. Again, paper towels, bottled water, gasoline, and other items that were popular during the pandemic should remain stocked. Back to you.
All right, some good information there. Thank you, Philip.
Let's get a look of our weather here at home with Chief Meteorologist Rusty Dawkins. Rusty, in my opinion, it's a beautiful fall day.
Yeah, really nice out there. A cool start to the day, and then it just kind of warmed up and got rather pleasant out there. The early morning temperatures, though, were on the chilly side in some spots. Lower 40s for Omaha, Lincoln, Nebraska City, and areas in eastern Nebraska. Even some blues creeping in there, so probably some upper 30s in spots. But the further west you went, the warmer it got. Some 50s for central and western Nebraska. And speaking of western Nebraska, 93 for a high temperature in Chadron today versus 73 in Nebraska City. So a 20-degree swing from one side of the state to the other. The rest of us were in the upper 80s and upper 70s and lower 80s. Outside right now, Schoen's roofing cam is showing that Beatrice is quiet and sunny, and right now it is 78 degrees in Lincoln, 72 in Nebraska City, some lower and middle 80s out there as well. Still some 90s though in the Panhandle. So some warmer temperatures going to be making its way to the east as we head through the next couple of days. Wind speed is out of the south at 5, 10, maybe 15 miles per hour, trying to gust towards around 20 miles per hour. A few scattered showers out there in north central and northeast Nebraska, most of that not hitting the ground. A couple of isolated thunderstorms in the Panhandle. Other than that, mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. And as we head through the next few days, a pumpkin picking forecast. If you can do it when it's in the 80s, well then by all means. 80 degrees on Friday, 83 on Saturday, back to 80 on Sunday. So a warm few days ahead, but there are cooler temperatures on the 10-day forecast, which we'll look at in a few minutes.
Sounds great, Rusty. Thank you very much. Now to crime news. A Lincoln doctor has been arrested. Dr. Scott Schmidt is facing first and second-degree sexual assault charges.
The Lancaster County Sheriff's Office says it involved 2 of his patients between January and July 1st of this year. He was an addiction medicine specialist at Pine Lake Behavioral Health. LSO is asking anyone with information or who was a victim to please come forward. Well, it's no secret there have been accusations of discrimination within the Lincoln Police Department.
Today, results of a survey given within the department were released. What did they show? Channel 8's Matthew Mittleiter has the answer.
This morning, Mayor Gaylor Baird and city officials shared the results of an independent assessment of the Lincoln Police Department, which began in February of 2021. It was performed by 21st Century Policing Solutions and involved meeting with focus groups and performing anonymous surveys within the department. City officials said this opened an avenue for employee voices to be heard.
Having people feel safe at work is a high priority, and we take these situations very seriously. Our employees are able to raise sensitive topics in a safe environment, which ensures that leadership receives honest and sometimes difficult feedback.
One of the biggest takeaways was the result of a survey which asked female employees whether they experienced any sex discrimination. Of the 34 women who took part in that survey, 47% said they had, while 53% said they hadn't. This comes after a series of lawsuits against LPD from former workers alleging sexual assault and discrimination, and the resignation of Jeff Blymeister. Chief Teresa Ewens, who was appointed in August of 2021, said she understands the concerns being brought forward.
You come into a new organization, you do your own assessment of the organization. I understand the complaints, I understand the input from our members, which is ongoing. This confirmed what it is that we were feeling, but also brought some good other eyes to the conversation.
Officials with the firm that did the assessment said that there were also concerns about recruitment and turnover rate, difficulties with work-life balance, low morale, as well as unfairness and a lack of transparency when considering promotions. Chief Ewan said in order to address the promotions complaint in particular, the police department will change its selection process for specialized units to provide more transparency and eliminate favoritism. The mayor praised the police department's work over the past few years in reducing crime in Lincoln and said that this survey should set the groundwork for how to improve.
I'm really pleased with what this report provides us with because it's shaped and influenced and informed by the actual experiences of people in the department. They've given us actionable recommendations that should provide systemic improvements in our workplace processes.
Reporting in Lincoln, Matthew Mittleiter, Channel 8 News.
And to see the full assessment and list of recommendations for LPD by 21st Century Policing Solutions, you can find the link in this story on our website, klkntv.com. The ACLU of Nebraska is launching a new campaign across the state.
It's aimed at raising awareness for Nebraska immigrants. There will be an increase of billboards around several Nebraska towns now through the end of the year. They'll also be written in several languages so all nationalities can feel welcomed and informed. This comes as migrants across the country are being shipped from Republican-led cities to Democratic areas.
It's dedicated to immigrant Nebraskans because they are an essential fabric of Nebraska and this entire country. And we want them to know that the ACLU is here to protect their rights and ensure that they're respected, and also that they understand their rights.
The nonprofit telling us that, quote, all of us have rights and all of us belong. Still to come on the news tonight, as his military invasion of Ukraine faces setbacks, Vladimir Putin is escalating the war with a plan to annex Ukrainian land.
That plus your full forecast with Rusty when we come back.
In the next 24 hours, Russian President Vladimir Putin is set to announce that Russia will formally annex a territory in Ukraine. The U.S. and its allies are vowing to impose new sanctions on the Kremlin as the conflict intensifies.
And NATO is officially blaming Russia for sabotage on 2 natural gas pipelines. ABC's Elizabeth Schultze has the latest from Washington.
As his military invasion of Ukraine faces setbacks, Russian President Vladimir Putin is escalating the war with the plan to annex Ukrainian land. The Kremlin staging a signing ceremony Friday, where Putin will formally declare Russia is taking over 4 territories in Ukraine, a blatant violation of international law.
The United States will never recognize Russia's claims on Ukraine's sovereign territory. This so-called referendum was a sham, an absolute sham. The results were manufactured in Moscow.
The regions Putin plans to annex are not fully controlled by Russia, as Ukrainian forces continue to fight for their homeland. A defiant Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is calling out Putin, saying these brutal violations of the UN Charter must be punished. The White House vows Russia will face more sanctions if the U.S. sends more military aid to Ukraine and Eastern Europe. 7 months into the war, weary Russians are fleeing in droves, trying to escape Putin's military draft. The U.S. is ordering Americans in Russia to leave to avoid getting drafted, while Finland is now closing its borders with Russia.
The aim of the resolution is to halt Russian tourism into Finland and transit through Finland to other Schengen countries.
And in another sign of Putin's desperation, NATO is officially blaming Russia for sabotage of the Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines. Images show a 4th leak on one of the pipelines, which funnel natural gas from Russia to Europe.
President Biden didn't respond to questions today on whether Russia is responsible for sabotage of the pipelines. The Kremlin denies any wrongdoing. Elizabeth Schultze, ABC News, Washington.
Now, your Storm Alert team forecast with Chief Meteorologist Rusty Dawkins.
So we have one more day of September left, and there's no precipitation in the forecast, so not too early to show this. The total for the month of September, just under an inch. Last year we had just under 3/4 of an inch, so we've done a little bit better than we did last year, but still well below where we're supposed to be. We're about almost 2 inches below the average precipitation totals, and still for 2022 we're just over 6 inches below average. So we'll see if we can make up for lost time anytime soon, but it just doesn't look like it. Drought Monitor has us almost exactly like we were last week, almost no change. Extreme and exceptional drought for northeast and north central Nebraska, as well as the southwestern corner of the state, even into the panhandle a little bit on the extreme side. And then everybody else anywhere from abnormally dry to a severe drought. So just everybody is in need of rain, and that's not going to help. This is Penner Bathing Solutions camera showing no rain, just wall-to-wall sunshine out there. And it's if we didn't need the rain, these would be really nice days. Temperatures in the middle and upper 70s, some 80s out there right now, 80 in Grand Island, 72 in Nebraska City, 78 in Lincoln, 77 in Beatrice. The dew point, very low, middle 40s for most of us, some lower 40s like Wahoo and Omaha, and Nebraska City at between 40 and 42 degrees. So it's comfortable out there. It's just we do need that rainfall. 24-hour temperature change, we are a little bit warmer than we were yesterday by about 5, 6, maybe 7 degrees. And that's going to continue. We are going to see temperatures kind of eke their way up over the next few days. Satellite and radar, finally a little rain to talk about. This right here around O'Neill and Holt County, probably not getting to the ground. If it is, it's like 3 raindrops, that's about it. Some isolated thunderstorms out there in the Panhandle, Cherry County, western Cherry County, maybe an isolated thunderstorm there. So some rain, but again, we need just a long-term rainfall that just is slow and steady for several days, and that just is not in the forecast. Here's what Stormcast has. There is a cold front off to the west, really slow moving. So just partly cloudy skies to mostly sunny skies as we head through the day on Friday. Very quiet, couple of isolated showers or thunderstorms, very similar to what's happening today. Will happen again in the Panhandle as this slow moving cold front makes its way east. It will eventually make its way towards us after the weekend and give us a chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms in central and eastern Nebraska, but it's a pretty small chance. There's just not a lot of moisture to work with, and the setup isn't isn't right. So we'll see. We still got a few days. Tonight, temperatures on the cool side, a little above average though, between 50 and 55 degrees. We'll say 52, mostly clear. That's near normal. Southeast wind at 5 to 15 miles per hour. For tomorrow, right around 80 degrees. If not the 80s, it'll be in the upper 70s. I think a touch warmer from Grand Island, Hastings, and Kearney. Should see around 83 or 84 degrees with a southeast wind 10 to 20 miles per hour. The average high is 75. We'll be about 5 degrees above that with mostly sunny skies. Again, these are nice days. It's just we could use some rain, and there's that chance on Monday and Tuesday. Just some showers possible. But before that, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all very mild days between 80 and 85 degrees. October 1st will likely be the warmest out of the bunch with 83. And then we start to cool off, slow but sure. Wednesday, 74, 70 on Thursday. Then as we head towards next weekend, there's even a 68 for a high on the map there for next Friday. So we'll see if that happens. But overall, very mild forecast for the next few days. We have to wait until next week before we see our next chance for any kind of rainfall.
Yeah, what do you guys think? When is it almost too warm to go pumpkin picking? Are 80s too warm?
I don't think so.
No.
It depends. A lot of it depends on the dew point. Rusty will tell you that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, 70s, lower 80s.
And if you get out early enough,
yeah,
you know, it's nice and cool in the morning.
Absolutely.
Is there ever a bad day to go pumpkin
I don't think
hunting?
so.
Very true, Rod. All right, thank you very much, Rusty. A negative day on Wall Street today. The Dow plummeting 458 points. NASDAQ is down 314. S&P losing 79 points. Here are your numbers. You're watching Channel 8, Nebraska's trusted news source.
Tonight.
Finally tonight, a high-tech running robot had the legs, and only the legs, to go the distance, breaking a world speed record.
And the whole thing was caught on camera. Jeremy Roth has tonight's Take a Look at this.
See Bot Run. Run, Bot, run! A Guinness World Speed Record is now owned by a cutting-edge creation that's half insane bot and half Usain Bolt. Cassie, this hoofing bipedal half-bot, is the work of Agility Robotics, a spin-off of Oregon State University. Cassie operates with no cameras or sensors, but rather through machine learning, and was engineered to have a running behavior that's been described as strikingly similar to human biomechanics. Once on the track, Cassie did not disappoint, setting a new bipedal bot world record, ripping off 100 meters in just under 25 seconds. Continuing the trend of adorably named cutting-edge tech, meet Alice, the world's first all-electric passenger plane, which just completed its first successful flight, producing 0 emissions as it soared for 8 minutes, 3,500 feet in the air. The plane, which uses rechargeable battery technology similar to that of an electric car or a cell phone, currently has a targeted range of about 250 nautical miles per charge. The plane's maker, Eviation, is continuing to push the tech's limits forward, but in the meantime describes the maiden voyage as, quote, history. Well, people, summer is over and fall is here, and like it or lump it, it's time to pump kit. That's not a saying at all, I'm sorry. But that didn't stop a menagerie of furry friends from enjoying a cornucopia of plump pumpkins at the Oregon Zoo. Yeah, there's no news here, it's just a bunch of cute critters ringing in the pumpkin-spiced season. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Very cute. All right, let's get a final check of the weather.
Temperatures are going to be in the 80s for the next few days, 83 on Saturday for that game, so a little on the warm side. It is a night game, so it should cool off by then. Around 80 on Sunday, then we cool off slow but sure as we head through next week.
All right, thank you, Rusty, and thank you all for joining us.
We'll see you back here at 6 o'clock.
With the Channel 8 News mobile app, you'll be the first to know. Get alerts about breaking news and weather, all in the palm of your hand.
Looks like the new guy picked up lunch. New DQ Signature Stack Burgers menu. 5 premium burgers that are anything but boring, so you can make an impression.
Lunch is on me.
DQ, happy tastes good.
Closed